So many thanks for joining us for this discussion, and we're going to look at the kind of the point where kind of AV technology meets higher education and that kind of the interesting discussions that can happen as a result of that kind of meeting place. So first of all, let me introduce the panel. I'm joined next to me by Adam Harvey from the University of Hertfordshire.
Hello.
Next to him is Caroline Carter from Imperial College London.
Hello.
And last but not least at the end is Damian Welch from the University of Arts London. So first question, let me put it to you, Adam, because you're next to me.
Okay.
What projects did you work on in 2022 that had pain points for you, and how did you get them resolved?
Every project I worked on in 2022. I suppose, like everybody else, the biggest issue was lead times for products and inconsistent deliveries. So, I mean, I think we did our summer refreshes of teaching rooms. I think we managed to do about just under 20 in the end, but it was very much, you know, that was the plan that we went out to tender with. There was a design. What we ended up with at the end was kind of not anything like that. So it was a very dynamically designed at some points where we're just having to swap out products because literally we're not going to get them in time. You know, that deadline of the first day of teaching never changes. So, you know, we have to hit that. Otherwise, there's hundreds and hundreds of students impacted from day one onwards. So,
Caroline, same pain for you?
Absolutely. I must say, last summer was something I probably want to forget.
Yeah.
We had rooms that were just so delayed because of, well, number one, because we couldn't get hold of the equipment, but also actually we found that when we were redeveloping areas, the architects or the builders couldn't get hold of their equipment, which then meant that was late, and then we were late, and then of course it had a knock-on effect to every project, and we were still snagging until well into November, which was not what anybody wants to do.
Same question really, but looking forward, what projects do you have lined up for 2023, and what is your refresh rate at the University of Hertfordshire in terms of like the rooms? Is it every 5 years, 7 years?
yeah, it was sort of between 5 and 7. It depends on usage. Some get hit a lot harder than others. But we are having to look at extending that a little bit now. You know, we might just swap projectors if everything else is okay. Just, you know, that display point, just to make sure that's all right, and everything else is just going to have to cope for now. But you know, we've been standardising on our kit for a long time, and you know, we've bought robust and reliable products. So you know, in a way, that's fine. You know, we've kind of, you know, years ago, not knowing it, I've planned for this, you know, eventuality, which is kind of handy. There's a lot of last-minute decisions.
Yeah.
And I think like capital expenditure is, you know, a lot of it is planned, but then there's, you know, a lot of it's based on student numbers. So if suddenly a course over recruits, which, you know, the university's encouraging that because there's more income for the university, but suddenly you're having to accommodate 2,000 more students doing particular courses, that's a real problem, you know, trying to like spin up teaching rooms really quickly.
Because they've actually now lifted the student numbers, you generally don't find out who is turning up until August. And so they'll kind of go, okay, we've actually got, I don't know, I'm taking physics. Physics, we've got 900 students doing this one course. Well, we don't have a 900 student lecture theatre. What are we going to do? Well, let's stream it. How? You know, have you thought of that? Well, we'll just use Teams, but you can't use Teams with Panopto. You know, and then you kind of start getting to the nitty gritty, and you're just going to get, we didn't think of that.
That is a bit of an issue, actually, isn't it? Because if you've got a course that's, say, 900 students, your timetable's done, you know, a year in advance. So you're having to accommodate those 900 students for that course. You know, week 2, you're not getting 900 students. You know, a lot of them are staying in bed, watching Panopto and stuff like that. So then you've got a room that, you know, all rooms that are going to accommodate 900 students, they've got like 300 students in them. But that's impacting everybody else then, because your space management is completely thrown.
Yeah.
So, you know, in a way, the hybrid bit has thrown another element of confusion into our lives.
You're getting told student numbers sometime in August for like a mid-September, late September start?
It'd be October start.
Okay,
Yeah.
but we're still talking about 6-8 weeks.
6
Yeah,
weeks.
yeah.
So kind of,
Yeah.
if
So-
the numbers are wildly different,
Yeah.
I guess that's a huge headache.
So it's a huge headache. So a lot of our rooms have to be a kind of a jack of all trades. So we have to enable a lot of things in our rooms when maybe you're spending too much money on a room because you might use it, you might not, but you're still having to put it in.
Certainly the UAL approach is to move towards a more corporate way of delivery for university. So although, yes, we have so many numbers coming in, we also have to focus on the online students, because that's what the Chancellor wants to focus on to bring those in. But we're moving towards this whole approach where the delivery of each classroom is exactly the same.
Is that what you meant by the corporate style? Was it in the delivery and the design?
We've designed an AV core method that allows us to have whoever academic goes to which college or campus, they have the same feeling, rather than having, unfortunately, multiple AV in every single room. So every room will be Teams enabled. Every room will have Panopto. It's the way they want to approach, you know, and every room potentially has Clevertouch. So it's just depend, but you do have to consider the whole hybrid way of thinking. And about 20,000 stakeholders like to be involved in that point. And if you don't engage with these 20,000 stakeholders, then you can come up to a problem.
What are the biggest changes you're seeing in AV within university rollouts? Adam, what's the biggest change that you're seeing in these kind of big, I guess it's not just summer rollouts for you, it's, is there other periods of the year as well?
AV technology is touching every project now, whereas whether it's digital signage or hybrid meeting rooms, teaching rooms, but everything, you know, there's not a single project or a single room refurb or anything that goes past now that hasn't got some element of audio-visual in it. And that wasn't necessarily the case before, but people are definitely thinking everything AV now. You know, they want audio, video, there's signage. It's got to work.
Every space is becoming AV enabled.
Absolutely, yeah. And that's become really apparent in the last sort of 18 months that everybody's thinking about it now. You know, the estates people that used to have to kind of encourage to do it, they're coming and just saying, well, we need this everywhere.
Caroline, what changes are you seeing in university rollouts?
Very similar. All our rooms have been, and for a very long time, Panopto enabled, whether it's personal or remote. And anything that has Panopto in it, we can quickly change to a Teams or Zoom room, the way they are.
It's a real tricky one because, like a lot of universities, we're a campus-based university, so the whole model of the university is students on site. But like I said earlier, you don't want to lose all of the flexibility that you've got by being able to deliver online. So I think it's a two-way thing. The university wants to be blended and flexible in the delivery, but it also wants the students on site. So trying to encourage people to be here and be on site and have that university life experience is the key driver, but also allowing everybody to do it from home.
I think our approach, and the more we're getting now, is Dante. Okay. Dante is required majorly in some of our colleges. Whether it's Dante with Teams or anything like that, it's a major push. So both hybrid, and again, we are structured. We are trying to deliver a core standard, but again, with the same flexibility of just in case.
The increase in Dante is because it gives you the flexibility to combine spaces or individualised spaces?
Exactly. For example, we have a new build going over Elephant and Castle. Every room's Dante enabled, which is so they can push through whatever they want in every single environment, whether it be signage or audio or visual, they can do it through Dante. So,
Caroline, you used the example earlier, the physics admissions kind of rising greatly and stuff. Does that make it really hard from your point of view that, say, you might have 900 signed up for physics, but actually only 50 or 100 or 200 of those are actually physically there?
Yes.
And the rest that aren't there are placing a huge demand on the infrastructure.
That's right, yes, and you don't get more than about 300 in a room. So you're still going to have to stream it to a different room if you do have people there. And then it's kind of how do you actually capture the questions coming back, A lot of the time, the person teaching or the academic will actually miss it in the chat. So you need somebody there to actually facilitate that. So you kind of need a co-pilot, is what we do. Well,
that's an academic or someone from your team? Or?
I'd say it's a teaching assistant. Kind of. That's probably the way I'd describe them.
And the element of that is that you have to make sure that those who are supporting it, who may be a teaching assistant, is able to understand the hardware, the equipment in the room.
And do they need to be mic'd up, or is it just a case of kind of waving to the lecturer?
No, well, they do. Yeah, we need to mic everybody up. We've got ceiling mics in virtually all the spaces now that we've got online.
On to another question. I just wanted to find out what your top priorities were within AV rollouts. Adam, what's the top of your list when you're doing you have a big summer planned?
Our priority is just to deliver the teaching spaces, and if we can't do that, all of our teaching spaces have got some sort of AV in, whether it's old or not. But if I can't replace it on time and have it working, then we just can't do it, because the impact going forward, if it's not ready for that first day, is just vast.
It's interesting because in the corporate market, it would just overrun, wouldn't it? You would just be like, well, it's going to be another 2 weeks, too bad, kind of thing. But as you're saying, you've got this.
Well, exactly, because I mean, overrunning a few meeting rooms, it's the impact on the people is all right. It's important, absolutely. But if I miss delivering a 300-seater lecture theatre, every hour 300 students are impacted every hour until we get it done. And like you were saying, November you're still commissioning and stuff like that. Yeah. That's a massive impact. And
huge impact.
Fee-paying students, their level of expectation is high of what we deliver. If we can't finish a lecture theatre on time, that's a real issue.
Caroline, is it the timetable top of your list, or is there things like quality of kit, or?
It very much is. If we can't do it on time, then we won't do it at all.
Well, that's all that's left for me to do is thank our panel, Adam, Caroline, Damian. Many thanks for your time, and many big thanks also to Clevertouch for their use of this fantastic showroom. If you've not been to it in London, central London, come and check it out. Many thanks for joining us. Bye-bye.
Thank you.